That's really sad when you're listening to Michael Jackson.
I was going to put in there, I'm going to play Michael Jackson until somebody thing. Does this work all right? I don't have any mic or nothing.
I can hear you, but there's a lot of fuzz in the audio.
Yeah, I could probably use. I'm going to just mute for a bit, but I figured I'd open it and run it on the old laptop there.
Oh, okay. What does Yankee have a topic tonight, or?
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would join it because I won't, but I was just curious. What is? Do you know what it is? Say again?
Yeah. Let me look for my headset. Hold on.
Okay.
Does that work?
Oh, much better.
Well, it should be back to normal because it's weird, but it's in an old configuration. Anyway, yeah, Yankee's doing a different format. He's not just doing open chats. It's me, Matt, and him. That's it.
Well, yeah, I knew that. That's what I meant. The topic. The topic of the three of you. You're going to discuss what?
Oh, wait, hold on. That's what's happening. I had a other chat start up and I had echo voices. Sorry, so I was trying to. Anyway, what were you saying? What was the topic tonight?
Yeah, that the three of you were going to go over. Or
I don't know exactly what it is. He told me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a good topic," but I don't remember exactly. It's either security. It might be like locking guns up. I know he had that one on the plan, or else it's like, oh, maybe it was safe guns, like that stupid gun company that made the gun that you had to have like a ring or a watch or something to shoot it. They went out of business. I guess they went out of business or filed bankruptcy. So I think that was one of his topics. But he was also saying something. He kept asking us which we should do. And I'm like, dude, it's your show. Do whatever you want. But whatever they were fairly decent topics. They were like, well, you know, just normal Yankee stuff. Stuff he figures we can fight about, I'm sure. And then, yes, something we were fighting about yesterday. He's like, oh, I got to make this a topic.
Of course, I guess we're live. I was going to ask you a question, but I won't.
What?
Well, we're live, so I'm not going to.
You can decide, but I don't think there's anything. Yankees, basically, that's his thing, though. He's always wanted to do, what would you call that? Like a talk show. I don't know. I don't ever watch that show, but like a panel where you have just three people and then it's just those three people. So even though we have done for literally years open discussions, I mean, I don't know when you came around, sorry, but you know, back in the day, it was just Matt chatting on Blog TV or whatever. And then when we started with YouTube, we didn't know anything else. So that's all it was Matt blabbing. And then because me and Yankee both fought all the time in the text, when we both got on, we started fighting all the time. So that's just what it turned into. But I think it wasn't like we sat down one day and said, oh, you know, this is where it's going to go. So this is what we need to do next to get us to that end goal, right? We just were doing our thing. So when it went from like just some person talking and other people saying yes, sir, or like yes, you know, and then it turned into like, oh, we can have 10 people in here and it works. Like, boom, it turned into like flood the thing with 10 people all the time. Right. And I always hated that. I mean, I guess I don't mind it, but it's stupid. It's stupid for trying to watch it after the fact, unless you like those 10 people or somehow relate to one of them or something like, and then, you know, when there's 10 people, two of them are always quiet, at least two of them. And then maybe another 5, like maybe say something once in a while. So there's really still only 2 or 3 people in there really having a chat. And with 10 people, it might change around. It might bounce around and be these 2 people and those 2 people, which is fine. And I'm not bitching about chats. It's just that like format just happened when Matt like I think he was probably a little bit of like, I've been doing this for 2 years or something, just talking myself. Like, it's awesome having these people in to do some of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, then it evolved into these chats, these lobby, whatever we're calling, like general chats. But no, there's no freaking rule that says we got to always have a bunch of people in there. So Yankee always wanted to do one where it was just a couple of people. And since he can't get nobody else to do it, it's me and Matt. But
I think
with two other people, I think if he could.
I think there's a couple of different styles that all work. One is what I'll call the point counterpoint, but you need a moderator, and that's where the three of you kind of come into play. The other is the interview style, where kind of like Charles does, there'll be one moderator interviewing somebody who's a specialist in something, and then the other is more of a less than 10, but probably not more than 5 or 6 group talk.
Oh, well, I was going to say, then you've also got just like monologue or whatever.
Yes, you're right. Monologue, if you are the subject matter expert, then obviously monologue is it as well.
Or just a weird character or whatever. But yeah, and nobody really does those, I guess. I don't think anybody just does
that's what
shows by themselves.
Videos are all.
I guess that's true. That's what all our videos are. So we don't really ever need to feed that.
Well, no, but I mean, Yankee specifically, he does unlike you, at least at best I can tell, you're not doing a character, you're doing you. He's doing a character.
Oh, you mean on his videos? I don't watch his videos. They drive me nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch his video. I mean, I used to watch his videos a couple of years ago. And then I finally had my limit of I'm not learning anything. And I didn't, it just wasn't my flavor of entertainment. So
I got distracted. It smells like somebody shit in here.
Well, thank you. But yeah, I do enjoy the monologue as far as somebody who can carry the show on their own, as long as they are a true subject matter expert. I enjoy the point counterpoint as long as each side can hold their own. I also like what was the other one? But the ones we just mentioned, I like all those styles. It's just a lot of people, and I'm not sure why, have gotten away from both the interview as well as the point counterpoint.
Well, I just don't think it's a shit ton of work. I'll tell you that. I mean, I've been doing them for a while. We can wing a group chat anytime because you just need the resource of a computer running and the time to sit here and do it. Right. So, and that's, half the reason I guess that's half the reason we did make gun channels, but that's, a big piece of gun channels is still people just being able to come in and there's some audience or whatever. But obviously there ain't like a bunch of audience just sitting around doing nothing. So you gotta, sorry, I'm trying to do 600 things here.
Although sometimes you have to wonder, because literally I got on a chat. I was in a chat last night. I went to bed. For some reason, I woke up at like 4 something my time.
On the line.
I was in a chat with Marco at 6:15 this morning, my time. Still on the original chat.
That's cool.
Now,
ideally, that's what I'd like it to be. It's just like 24 hours. Somebody's always hosting a lobby, and then some regular scheduled programming will come in. That's what I was getting at. Is it's super tough to run one of these things. After you do it for a while, it gets more familiar or whatever. But then there's still work. I mean, there's just a ton of like lame crap that needs to be done or whatever.
Right.
Oh, that makes me think of another thing that me and you need to talk about. But
sounds like work.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, tedious, like, turning the thing on and then not doing other things while it's running, kind of whatever. So anyway, there is some amount of work, and what I'm getting at is that it's just enough that it's prohibitive to anybody who just wants to have fun. It's not like plugging in a video game, playing it, and then walking away. You have to prepare a little bit, at least to let people know it's coming, and then you have to do it on a consistent basis so that people know that every week at this time you got a show, right? So Matt does a pretty good job juggling everything, I'd say, considering we don't even think about that he's got a little baby. He's got his other kids he's already had. They moved. He's doing home remodeling and stuff, and he still manages to get out there and kick out a show. Now, some people are going to give him shit and go, oh, it's not a structured enough show or whatever. And I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying I'm talking to the world now. But, that's tough. So that's one of the things. And if you're trying to do it as an interview show, Like, I think Lola, she gets a lot of credit too. She's got all kinds of shit going on in real life, and she digs this enough to do actual interview shows. That requires doing it on a regular basis so that people will give you the credibility to come onto your show, right? And scheduling them and being there available for them, you know, and then running a good show, and then, you know, all that. So there's some work to that. So I can see why a lot of those, whatever, that format doesn't get done very often. You got to either have some money coming in so that you're doing it for your, you know, for pay, or you got to be really dedicated. And most people just ain't that dedicated, unfortunately. I think, though, a lot of it, I'm hoping a lot of it is the perceived hurdle of technology, which ain't there anymore. You know, it's going away more and more and more. So anyway, that's why I'm hoping that Gun Channels sticks around, and people start figuring out that it's simple, because what I'd really like to see is people picking up their phones and just doing on the spot when they're doing something cool, sharing it with people. And I think we're going to all be amazed how many cool, awesome things are going out in the world once people start sharing that a little bit more. Anyway, I'm getting a fucking error message, and I'm trying to screen capture and edit and everything on this old machine, which I didn't plan on doing, but I need to do. So what I was talking about with a lot of work is the other day, me and you were talking about something. I don't know how, you know, sometimes at night they get into the army talks or whatever. And I was saying something, I think, because some of these guys that have never served feel like they owe something to people that served, which is fine. If they want to feel that way, that's great. But I've always been an advocate of, if a person if an individual feels the call to serve their country, that's between them and their damn country. And nobody, if you're doing it for the payback or the congratulations, then I think you're doing it at a different level than people that just fucking do it. And a lot of times, and you came in and said something like, yeah, I agree, or something. And that made me think, oh shit, maybe we should address this more. There was more going on in that conversation. I'm trying to sum it up. But then I fear that people might have heard that and just are a little back and forth. And because I'm focused on it, I'm assuming other people might have remembered it. But if they go from that little back and forth, then they think that when I was describing what I was describing like being waist deep in filth, like unclogging a drain, or just the stupid crap that has to be done. I wasn't describing like the toils and agony of warfare or anything. So I was thinking it might be worth, I don't know how to approach it. I hate to do it on the Memorial Days, or the, you know, the date, not Memorial Day, but the days of memorial, or the days of thank you to those people, or to us, or whatever you want to call it. But every once in a while, I think it needs to be addressed by service people that, number one, only like a little hair of the people actually go out and fight and stuff. And there's a lot of people that do all kinds of freaking work, and that's really your service. I consider that just taken, you know, I didn't at the time know it. I may have made a different decision if I would have thought about it beforehand or knew about it beforehand. But my service to my country was taking a couple years out of my life to do stupid crap that the country needed done. And it wasn't glory, and it wasn't fucking nothing got done except drains got unclogged, or, you know, like the thing got pushed out of the way. There was nothing of significance happened, but it was all necessary, just shit that needed to get done, kind of thing. And when I say that I sacrifice, I don't mean I freaking did anything more than not waste a bunch of my time, but, you know, devote a bunch of my time to other people, and without any kind of whatever. So I think that if we can do a show maybe sometime about that, it might be of worth, because I hate to see these guys that never served feel bad that, or somehow give.
I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, it's ironic that you mentioned this, because just last night I was thinking about making a video about this subject and honor, and about what is honor. And honor is many things, but honor doesn't mean necessarily serving your country. That's one way to be honorable. Being a man or woman of your word is honor. Being not just a father, but being a dad, that's honorable. And that has to do with another issue of something else, which I won't get into at the moment. But there are plenty of ways to be an honorable person and to serve your community, whether it's the town you live in, the state you live in, the nation you live in, or all of the above. And you touched on it a little bit. The vast majority of service members serve. The vast majority of service members served in what's called the garrison army, meaning not a wartime army. And even
Dano.
during wartime, most of them served in a support role, not the tip of the spear.
Hey, Dano, can you hear me?
I can now.
My computer shitted out. Do you have access to the Gun Channel's YouTube channel?
I do somewhere. You want me to log in as the other account?
Well, this computer's logging on. I just don't know how long it'll go live. I don't know why this thing even shut off. So I just now I'm thinking it's probably not a good idea to host from that one. So would it be possible? I know you didn't plan on doing it, but would you be able to log on?
Yeah. Let's shut this one down, and I'll start another one up.
Oh no, hold on. If you can just log out and log in with the Gun Channel's login and go back to the same URL, it should let you just take over, like take the baton and own the channel or own the chat room, I think.
Oh, yeah. I can give it a shot.
Okay. That way we don't have to switch it out is all I was thinking.
Okay. Let me copy the URL here.
On my phone, just in case, to keep the room open then. And everybody can look at my headset. I'm just sitting right here. This is the headset I use to do videos. Why doesn't somebody else jump in so that we keep this room open? I'm assuming we're still live. I don't have any other computers open to the internet to see if anybody's on Gun Channels listening to this, but if you are, you jump in and keep the room open. There. Look at that. There's a dog. How you pet a dog. This is how you pet a dog. Take the stuff out of his eyes so it looks presentable for the internet. Hey. Give me that. Give me the toy. Give me that toy. Give me the toy. Give me the toy. Give it here. Give me. Give me. Good boy. Catch it. Can't catch a toy. It's a baby. Wait for the baby to catch the toy. What the hell? Now it won't even take power anymore. That didn't work?
I'm trying to figure out why it didn't work.
You don't have the login? Or you'd have to log in with the Gun Channel's account is what I mean.
I did. That's why I'm not trying. I can't figure out why. Somehow it forced me back to the other one.
Oh, you know what it is? Just do it again. It's on that first screen where you have to click OK to be public or whatever. You can click switch account there and switch back to the Gun Channel's one.
Okay, let me try it again.
Okay. Uh-oh. So Cat was going to come here, but then jealousy came in and took the cat's attention away. What are you playing with this toy for? Why do you want to play with this toy? All right, cool. So I'm going to drop out so I don't kill my bandwidth. Can you hang out? Did you hear the story? There we go. You got the button?
I believe so.
Successful baton transfer.
Well, it's got me as host.
Yeah. Cool.
I just
all right, I'm on my phone so I don't kill my bandwidth now.
Okay. Well, I just need to change the picture here. Hey, Moon. There we go. Now I got the correct picture. Hey, Moon, are you there? Moon? Okay. I think I got it now.
Right on. So that was pretty cool. That's like switching pilots in midair.
The font was so small where it said switch accounts.
Yep.
Because I had logged in under this account. I thought, well, it should be smooth sailing. But then it forced me back over to my other account. So, anyway.
Right on. Well, thanks for taking it. I don't have anything. Well, I was going to try to. I'm on my other computer. I don't really want to be on this one. But
I got time to go from now till when Yankee goes on.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thanks.
So.
I don't know if we're going to jump in or not, but Moon jumped in.
I can also just kind of let this free float, depending on what you want to do. I can either shut it down when Yankee comes on or let it go, whatever you want to do.
If you don't mind, then yeah, let's let it go through Yankee and Stone Guy. I don't want it to be like, that I think I forgot where I got cut off there, but I was trying. We wanted to have parallel shows if possible, so.
Right.
Cool. Even if no one's in it, at least it's there. And if people that really hate what we're talking about, I could totally understand people hating what we're talking about. They got a place to go hang.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know how much of that Army thing I was talking about, but would you be interested in doing some sort of a nod to the non-grunt or whatever that would be called?
Absolutely. I don't know how much of my response did you hear in regards to honor.
Oh, no, it just cut off right in the middle of me talking, so I have no idea where it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let me go ahead and just say it again. Is that I was thinking just yesterday about doing a video on my own about that exact same subject and I'm not sure why it hit me, whether it was Hawaii, or one of the other users, and it's like I feel like I have a need to separate garrison services from wartime services, from support services to tip of the spear. And I think some people may carry a little guilt that they shouldn't carry.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
It's like, so I did some garrison crap. That doesn't make me anybody. And I'm not trying to downplay anybody else. I'm just representing myself. I mean,
you're somebody, Dano.
I mean, I don't talk about my service because I didn't charge the hill. I didn't do anything all that interesting. So I don't think it's worthy of my time. And frankly, I feel uncomfortable a little bit when people say thank you for your service, because of the people who didn't make it home, and the people who came home with permanent injuries, and the people who came home who may not have injuries, but they went through that psychological shitstorm that I didn't. And I am not worthy of of the thanks that they deserve.
I think we're a little bit different. I don't have any. I mean, I hear you. I totally understand. But I'm not trying to say that. I mean, it's all critical service. I mean, the bullshit crap has to be done. There's no way any of the cool stuff could happen without the important shit can happen without the.
Oh, absolutely.
With the garbage. So all that shit's there. And then, unfortunately, there's also a bunch of people that are just kind of wasted. But for whatever reason, they thought they were going to need them, kind of thing. And then, anyway, I'm getting vague, but anyhow, I'm saying I agree with you, and I agree with you, but it's in a different way, I guess. I think that I don't know. I don't have to do the whole show now, but yeah, I think that might be an interesting topic, and hopefully let some people know, maybe let some people's conscious, whatever that would be called, conscience.
Right.
There's no obligation. We don't live in that country, so I hate when people feel I feel like people feel like they've missed something. Just being good and being free is just as good as any amount of time you could have spent.
Yeah, and I guess I have my own guilt when I hear and see guys like Maine Prepper, who made it back, and then are literally suffering a rough road.
I guess I don't know what that story is.
Well, I don't want to divulge it on air. I mean, those who have followed him are probably aware, but I don't want to.
You mean
Psychological trauma, ongoing.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, what we all have in common is when we sign the dotted line, we have no idea what we're in store for.
True.
We may think we do.
Well, did you think you were going to die when you signed?
No.
I didn't either. I think we definitely have eras or whatever. I mean, I didn't feel any fear. And I'm sure it would have been different in like 2002, right? 2001.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you sign up, when war is already happening, I think that's a very different mindset that I cannot speak to, because there was nothing going on when I got in, there was nothing going on when I was in, and there was nothing going on as I exited.
Yeah, exactly.
So how you doing, Moon?
Doing okay.
Now, are you in the process of either getting something or selling something?
No.
Okay, I must have been thinking. I was in a chat
I'm still in the
last night.
Sega, and I need to sell imminently. This laptop is killing me. So, must go. Everything must go. Sega 12, new in the box. On Gunbroker. It's frustrating. There's a bunch of them that are, I don't know, you know how you've been to Gunbroker or eBay. You know, some people set up their auctions with a bunch of effort, and some people just type in what they need to, and then it's kind of no frills.
Right.
And both of them, both kinds are selling, except mine. And I'm like, dang it! I'm like, let's get it out of here. It's not going. I'm not asking. I'm being a little bit optimistic, but I'm not raping anybody. I'm not expecting too much, I don't think, because there's a whole bunch of them with bids at like the 800 level. I'm like, shit. Mine's at $699 just sitting there.
Do you think it's the description or the pictures, or what's?
I think it's just because I need some money, and it's so much pot never boils kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just I didn't expect this laptop, and I was like, oh, I can easily put that on the credit card and just pay that off in the future. Yeah. And then like 6 things popped up. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I just did that with some magazines. Now I'm holding my breath for 2 months. But I never put myself tight enough that I have to suffer. It's just I can't get any luxuries.
He jumped out, but PBR said that he couldn't pick up his AKs today. He didn't elaborate, though, I don't think.
Yeah, I saw that.
Almost got my AKs, but bureaucracy got in the way. He was probably mad, and the waiting period kicked in so that he wouldn't hurt anybody. So, children win.
Yeah. We're all safer.
What is it like? Is it after 3 days or 5 days that if ATF doesn't get back, you automatically get them?
3 working days.
Okay.
If it was 4473 issue, it could have been all kinds of other things. We're just he's not on a border state. He's in Oregon, so I don't know what it might be.
Maybe his FFL is getting audited or something.
Oh shit, that can happen. I've seen places shut down because of an audit.
That'll do it.
And that would make it so you ain't, no guns are going in or out.
Yeah.
Or worse, if they screwed with his FFL and the guns got transferred to him, and now he has to. Well, I don't want to doom him by describing that. There could be some horrible shit if if the thing is bureaucracy requires a certain procedure and something gets messed up in the procedure and it has to go through the channels over again. That would suck. What editors do you guys use? Video editors?
I use AVS, which AVS. I actually, the reason I got it is because when I first started, I asked Quirk what he used, and that's what he was using at the time. And I would not suggest it myself.
Oh, okay. Moon, what do you use?
I couldn't even tell you the name of it. I used to use this app on my phone. I think it was, I don't know, something cut.
Now I need one for a computer. I'm just debating if I should install my old crap on this fancy new computer, or I guess I really don't have any other choice. So
yeah,
I guess I could look for free something or another. I got a free that GIMP, I think.
Oh yeah.
does he uses, I'm going to try that instead of paying for a, or using my old one that I paid for a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you have to balance. I mean, with GIMP, you have to learn GIMP, and that's the learning curve. With your old software, you already know how to use it.
True.
So it's a question of how much time would it take you to install it and then learn it versus install your old crap, which is going to be a pain in the ass, but then you already know where to go or what to do.
Well, the thing is, I used a really old version of Cyberlink, and then I bought a new version of Cyberlink, but that computer couldn't handle it. But that was in 2012 or something, so it's still 2 versions old, but I never used it. So I've kind of got both problems. It's old and shitty, but it's newer than the one I had been using, so I'm still going to have to figure out new shit, I think. But
Yeah.
it works, and that's what I got.
Well, I mean, if you anticipate, at least temporarily, keeping up the current style of videos you're doing, I would just stick with Movie Maker.
Well, no, that's the whole point of the new computer, though, is to try to edit again.
Oh, okay.
I've got some old stuff that when I was in that stupid network thing for a minute, well, not for a minute, for like 8 months or whatever, I didn't know if they owned my stuff or not. And that's right when I got back from the trip, from driving around, driving around the country. So I had all this content that I was not sure if I wanted to use or not, and then it got put on external drives, so it's not accessible. And once I knew I was no longer, like, I didn't have to worry about them stealing my shit, I don't have any time to edit. So I was, especially on that old machine. So I'm hoping that with the new machine I can edit a little quicker and get back to making these half-ass videos like I used to.
Let me ask you a couple of questions, because I just got, obviously mine's not a laptop, but I just got a semi-new machine, is for editing and then trying to do something like streaming at the same time. How many gigs of RAM did you get on it?
16.
Okay. That's the, I think that's this, I think they got 16 or 32, I can't remember. And then do you get a quad core or a dual core?
I just have an i5. I don't know what that is.
Oh, you're doing it through your phone.
No, i5 chip, Intel, whatever.
Oh, okay.
The bigger ones are i7. My old one was an i5. This one's an i5 too. What happened? But it's also got a solid state drive.
Ooh, that's nice.
So far it is. It boots really fast.
Refresh my memory. What's the Windows app that will give you some basic information about your hardware, like memories, processor, that sort of thing? Is it Perfmon?
I don't know. I just right-click on my computer and choose properties.
Oh, okay. Well, I got Windows 8, which I don't exactly have down pat yet.
Oh, 8? I don't know on 8. Back in the day, you'd go to like a file, you go open a file or whatever, and you get the file list on the left, and then you can just right-click on my computer and choose properties. It's probably like my computer, or I mean, control panel something. System control panel, maybe? Does Windows pause break still bring that up?
Let's see. Of course, it would help if I put on my glasses.
Well, this isn't looking good.
Yes, it does.
There you go.
There we go. Let's see. Well, apparently I've only got 8 gigs of RAM, not 16.
8's good though.
And it just says x64 based processor. Now I know it's a quad 4 chip, but it's not telling me what I series it is. Oh, that's because it's not an I series. It's an AMD A8. But it's a low-end machine, and I knew that when I bought it. But I definitely do not have a hard drive like you got. a solid state drive.
Do you have a optical drive?
I have an old-fashioned drive. It's just that it's a terabyte drive.
No, I mean, do you have a DVD?
Yes.
So, do you ever use the DVD?
Yes, for movies because I don't have cable. I don't use my TV anymore.
Oh, well, I was going to say, if you don't use the DVD, you can, well, I guess you could just take out your hard drive and replace it with an SSD, but you can also take out the optical drive and put a solid state in there.
Yeah, well, I also have space inside that I can mount a second drive anyway. And just make my original drive non-bootable. It just, I'm too cheap.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the biggest bang for the buck without adding another $500 or more to it.
Oh, these tactical shitheads. Tactical shit reposted my picture and then gave the reposter the credit, not me.
Haven't you been adding watermarks?
I do sometimes.
Oh, man.
Is there a way you can set up your software so it kind of like you use a template so it does it every time you do one?
There's might be a app that does it, but I haven't found a good one. The best one I found so far is that whatever one I keep talking about, add watermark, I think. But it's quick, but it's not automatic. I can't. For the life of me, I can't figure out why they don't add that to the phone as an option because it's crazy. Everywhere you need a watermark.
Yeah.
Even
I
just
wish it was an option on whatever, Instagram.
yeah, or Instagram. Why don't they add it? It's insane. It's super simple. All these apps do it. But I think it's installing. It's just taking forever.
I'll be right back. I got to get my dinner started.
Yeah, I just got to make room on my phone for the app that I use on my other phone is when I put watermarks on, but when I use this phone, I don't.
Did they get like? Is it one of those times where they reposted it and it got like 1 billion hits, or is it like they
It's
reposted and it got a couple of hundred?
got like 800.
Oh man, that's annoying.
Maybe they'll fix it. Who knows? They just posted another pic 3 minutes ago, but they haven't done nothing.
Did you say something about it or anything?
Yeah.
No.
I said that's my pic, and then I added them at the original.
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy enough to do.
And then I tagged the reposter. All you have to do is go to the reposter's pic, and he gave me credit when he reposted it. So.
Now that I'm at 10,000, I can't see how many people are adding or leaving. All I get is the 0.1, so I guess I'm only going to know in 100 increments now. Kind of weird. I kind of like going in and seeing the number grow.
What do you mean?
When I would be able to look at my number, I'd go to my thing and it would be, bigger or littler. But sometimes it gets smaller, and I could be like, oh, okay, I posted a picture everybody fucking hates, so now I'd know. But now it just says 10.1, and then it'll take till another 200 for another 100 before it'll say 10.2.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of hard to figure out unless I had hundreds of people coming and going, which doesn't happen. So what the hell's going on with this? Oh, there it is. What the fuck? It's weird having a computer without anything on it. Needs to install QuickTime.
Okay, I got a smartphone video chat question for anybody who can help me out here. Hello?
What's the
Hello.
question?
Okay. The question is in these chats, how many? If let's say you had what's a low gigabyte data plan typically? Is it 2 gigs a month? Is it 10 gigs a month?
I think 2 or 4.
Okay. How many? Let's say 2-hour chats. Do you think you could get out of a basic plan like that? Let's say a 2 gig.
1.
Okay.
If I do a chat or 2 and then anything else normal, I'm hitting my 10 gig limit.
Okay. I was just curious as far as how I knew it used a lot, but I didn't know how much.
There's probably like I don't know. I haven't like experimented with shutting off the camera or anything, but I don't know of any way. There's not like a limit bandwidth little meter like we have in the computers.
Right. I mean, yeah. I would assume turning the camera would do a lot, but
You never know. When I noticed now that this other computer is crapping out, that Google is huge, or whatever it is, Chrome,
yes.
it's freaking huge. So I wouldn't be surprised if on the phones they're not just wasting all kinds of bandwidth, you know.
Yeah. Chrome is I was very surprised. Is quite the resource pig that like back in Windows 95 used to be.
Yeah, well, they probably, they didn't start until the big computers, so now they're 64-bit systems and stuff, so they're like, yeah, be as big as we need to be. It won't be too long before it's mostly phones anyway.
Yeah.
If it isn't already. Did it end, I guess?
Well, I think for people that don't produce content, you're probably correct. It
Oh
just
yeah, it's most everybody.
well, I mean, but to produce content, it's hard not using, a mouse and a keyboard and using other, whether it's a pen on a touch screen, for certain artistic things.
Yeah, but that's not most people though. Most people
Right.
are just watching.
That's what I meant. For people who don't produce content, it wouldn't be a problem. Or if they want to do videos, but just very no intro, just show me picking it up, show me doing whatever it is I'm doing it, and then say my ending and then goodbye. Very basic stuff. Which is fine because it also makes it a lot less stressful doing videos that way. Oh, I got to get back to my dinner. Just a minute.
I wonder what he's cooking.
Probably some sort of soup. Or a watery stew. Old people don't like to chew stuff. Maybe a chili?
Fine pureed chili.
Yep. Blender chili. All the same ingredients as regular chili. It's just in a paste. And without any of the hot sauce or chilies. Oh man, it's been a while. I have to remember how to do a dang video. Oh, I put those over there. So. Let's be optimistic. Let's see if we can. Wow, that's kind of neat.
Is that the whopper I'm hearing?
No, it's just not a good beep, but a beep.
So Moon, what got you initially interested in CZs? Was it a friend of yours that had one, or
No, I can't even remember.
is
I
it the
cannot remember.
first gun you ever owned?
I just liked the way they looked.
Okay.
No, it wasn't the first gun I ever owned.
I mean,
I
the only
wanted,
reason,
like, I know that it was that I wanted a new gun, and I wanted a all steel 9mm, and I wanted it to look like as classic, I don't know, all steel 9mm as possible, and CZs fit the bill.
right? Just most new gunners who don't necessarily come from, dad's not a shooter, brother's not a shooter, that sort of thing, where they have no exposure to shooting, usually go to one of the safe bets, whether it's a Smith, a Glock, a Ruger. I mean, something that they've heard of before. And CZ isn't usually, in the top couple of, for somebody who has no exposure to guns, isn't a name they're necessarily familiar with.
Yeah, I don't know whether I was just kept seeing pictures of them or what. I can't remember.
Now, was this back in the 90s, or when was this for you?
No, probably like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Look at that. Is that G10?
Yeah.
Showing off the G.
I don't know how you can deny this. Not you, but
Perfection.
anybody.
If it wasn't for that safety.
Well, they don't make the decocker version of that model. This
Here,
one's got a decocker.
you're a lot of range gun.
Yeah.
Has that one relatively new Gun Channels member, Watcher 6 or whatever, is she been on lately, or no?
No, she hasn't been back.
Oh.
Oh, they fixed it.
My noodles are calling me. I got to go again.
Oh, now we know it's noodles.
A lot of the
The tactical shit fixed it.
Good.
Very good.
Did they add your tags or take down the pic?
No, they just getting an echo. They deleted the reposter and then posted my name under it. They just edited it.
Okay. I suppose as the channel that just reposts, then they're probably familiar with, or they probably had encountered that before.
Yeah, I figured they're pretty big on there. Just recently, actually, they got pretty big. So I figured that they didn't do it on purpose, but sometimes I don't like putting the watermark on. Concealed Carry Nation said I got to put it close to the subject matter.
That's what I like to do as well.
Yeah, so that people don't crop it out.
Exactly.
I'm getting a new phone in a couple days anyway, so. I can never figure out this phone. I could only fit 1 gig worth of stuff. Even though it has a memory card that I can transfer all my pictures to, I just can't transfer apps to it. Stupid phone.
Well, you don't transfer apps. If you bought them, you just re-download them onto the phone, and then it'll know you bought it already.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying on this phone I have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and some other stuff that I keep on my phone all the time, and it doesn't leave me enough room to have another app. Because it's using the 1 gig of internal whatever storage and not letting me use the memory card, the extra space on the memory card. Or maybe it's 2 gigs. Either way, it's not enough. All these apps update themselves. Just keep adding megabytes and megabytes. This phone sucks.
They definitely do that.
So usually when I watermark it, I either email it to myself so I can redo it on my tablet. But I don't know, does that degrade the quality of the picture the more times you send it and mess with it?
Potentially, only if there's settings that'll reduce the size or whatever. So if you text it to somebody, that picture is going to be shrunk down, and then if you were to take a copy of that, it would be shitty.
All right.
But our phones take pictures so fucking huge that even the cropped down ones are pretty darn good pictures sometimes.
Saw your Wasser 10 post. And then,
I don't know what to think of those things. I really wish I had an old one to compare it to.
yeah.
It's got tagged like Pinkus. That's kind of a neat one.
The one I had was a 1063 GP. So it was, I don't know, whatever ones they had in 2012.
Well, that's the thing. That's like saying the F-150. You know, they've had all kinds of versions of it since whenever they started making an F-150.
Yeah. Mine wasn't bad. It had a canted front sight, but you could barely tell because it looked like the rear trunnion was kind of canted at the same time, so it all lined up.
Which AK was that?
Looks like they not only gave you credit, but then also apologized, so that's cool. They didn't have to do all that shit.
Yeah.
For what gun was that, Moon?
The Wasser 10.
Oh, okay.
I sold it back to the gun shop during the whole gun scare, and they gave me $375 for it. I paid $450, so I only lost $75, and I shot the shit out of it. Kind of wish I held on to it.
So at this point, do you have a rifle?
Yeah.
And a dog?
No, that's not my dog.
Oh, that's the dog. What kind of ammo is that in your picture, Moon?
Back here.
Looks like just a different design of a box. Oh, it is gold dot. Okay, it was just the lighting.
Yeah.
I thought it had like a white top, but it was just a reflection.
Yep.
Technically, is what we call in the profession a hot spot.
It's that shininess.
Yeah.
I have an Arsenal now. It's my AK.
You do. You bad boy.
I want another one, but not another. I don't know. I don't want to pay a lot for an Arsenal, but
That's like saying, you know, I want a brand new BMW, but I don't want to pay more than 10 grand.
I remember not having any problems with my Wasser, so if they stay around 500, I might pick up one of those again. Someday.
So would you get yours used from some guy or some shop, or would you buy it new from Century?
I'd probably buy the newer one. And my shop still has that Hungarian AMD 65 for $4.99. They're a little funny looking, but still AK mags, AK everything else. Just so you can't do much to them. They got a pinned and welded brake because the barrel's 14 inches or 14 and a half inches or something. And the stock's a wire folder.
So they went with the original barrel then?
I don't know.
I mean, I just assumed, because why would they put in a 14 and a half if they're going to replace it with a U.S. barrel?
I guess, because I'd have to look at it again, because I thought it was a Century, but I can't find it on Century's website anywhere. And the only ones I see for sale right now online are the Hungarian ones. The FEG.
Is that a TLR1 on your CZ?
No, It's a PPQ.
Or your PPQ?
Surefire.
Surefire. You know, I've often wondered with some of the what I'll call mid-sized guns with the light sticking that far out in front of the muzzle, how much of the blast over time, even if you don't have the light on, but you know, vibration, shock, recoil.
Got kind of dirty.
Are you talking about dirty or abuse to the light?
I'm talking about to the lifetime of the bulb.
Well, they're usually LEDs, so no. When they're bulbs, it would, I don't know, shotguns could sometimes cause a problem. You'd have to get like higher rated ones or better ones. But well, they went to LEDs back when I was buying them, so I only bought LED. I never went to bulb. But I don't remember a lot of bulbs being sold, so they must have held up pretty well. They will go out, but I don't know if that's necessarily from abuse or just, you know, how the nature of a bulb, it dies after a while.
Well, I guess I just assumed that this, however they soldered them in, that was probably the weak point as far as vibration.
No, that's one of the reasons Surefire is, you know, used by law enforcement and military, is because they're super hardcore. They're just made very well.
Right. Oh, I understand that they're very reliable. It just, you know, nothing lasts forever. Is all I meant.
Usually they would just fall apart other ways besides the bulb, though. I mean, the attachment point, depending if they come on and off a lot, or else the switches, because they get used all the time as well.
Right. It just, I guess I'm thinking as compared to, let's say, the shorter versions of this, maybe not quite as many lumens, but it wouldn't stick out quite so far in front of the muzzle.
I've never heard anything about shorter lights working better. That one's not long. That's a normal light. It's just that he's got it on a compact, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I usually have it on the 41, and it's like I was just trying it out on the PPQ, but 41, it's like flush.
Yeah, because then you wouldn't get, and I mean like the shock wave that's created by the projectile coming out.
Yeah, I had this one guy try to sell me one where like all the paint right here was blasted off, and you could see the metal underneath it. And
Yeah.
he was like new, and I was like, let me see pictures from all angles.
Yeah.
And he sent me that, and he showed that one where it was like blasted off, and I was like, I don't want it.
I mean, I have an inexpensive Streamlight. The first thing I did was take black electrical tape and wrap it around the outside.
What I do with the range is they usually have the masking tape, and if I remember, I'll just put masking tape on the top of it.
Yeah.
But
the other thing I do to make
time I didn't.
Cleaning the lens a little easier is just take a Q-tip with a little bit of oil, and just when I'm at the range, just put a little oil on the lens. And then, you know, when I'm done shooting, it just comes right off.
Yeah, I just use a Q-tip and dish soap.
Yep, same thing. I mean, it'll work as well.
So that's what the manual said. It said don't use any cleaners or whatnot. Use regular soap.
Yeah. Actually, I don't remember. I don't think mine said anything about doing. I actually heard it in one of these chats about putting something on your lens.
Yeah, I heard that. I just always forget.
So, is Yankees chat starting in a half hour or hour and a half or?
It's an hour and a half, right? 9 o'clock.
I don't know.
Well, I always get confused between the different times that you guys got out on the other coast.
He's going during Tac Daddy, so
Ooh.
that would be 8 o'clock your time, I guess.
So who's got more sponsors? I mean real sponsors.
Who's got more viewers? Yankee.
Any sponsors?
I've never seen a guy come up with so many sponsors. In other words, well, if I called the receptionist and she said hello when she answered the phone, she must like me, therefore she must like the show, therefore she's sponsoring.
Brought to you by...
Yeah, exactly. Brought to you by the people I spoke to this week at the receptionist desk.
Does Yankee ever shoot his M1A? It's just rotting away in his safe. Just posted a picture of it. Well, a part of it. I think I might go look for one of them Marlin bolt actions. 22s tomorrow. I don't know if I want the magazine fed one or the tube one. The tube one holds more. And they're only like $200 to something.
Uh-huh.
I don't have any 22s right now. I have my kids.
Well,
He's got 3 of them, but I don't like to shoot his.
I got the 22 rifle that I, kind of used to help break my son in as far as, rules of handling guns and that sort of thing, and something low power to bring him in. But that's the only one I got.
You see the internal?
Yeah. I'm not surprised, and we'll leave it at that.
I wish I had somebody like that on the team.
Yeah.
Or however you spell scrupulous.
That's how he affords that life.
That's right. Are most of with the exception of Stone Guy, are most of his regulars in his chat, except for his guests, like local Floridians? Anybody know?
You're talking about that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
One guy is, I think.
I think Schwill lives in Florida, but like VSO lives in Pennsylvania or something.
He's in Ohio now. Ohio.
And other people are around the country, I think.
There was that other guy that was always on a show. I don't know if he's... I haven't watched Tech that in a long time, but... who's that guy that drove the Cobalt? Whoever that guy was. I think he's in Florida with him.
There was a guy in somebody's chat, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Pino. He worked for LWRC, I think.
Yeah. He was usually on with, what's his face?
I can't remember who it was, but he switched companies, and then he's never been seen since.
You mean Adam Peeney?
Yeah, Adam
Yes.
Peeney.
He works for somebody now, but he's worked for like 2 or 3 or 4 companies since the time he was in that chat you're talking about, I think. But he still does stuff, just not with us.
Okay.
He was on a lot of chaos chats, I think.
Gotcha. What's the name of that girl from southern Wisconsin that's relatively popular? I can't remember her channel name.
He used to be Fate Destiny, and now it's something else.
Yes, now it's some falafel. I can't even pronounce the falafel.
Who said that they were going to buy a Marlin tomorrow?
Me. Maybe.
Look.
So, is she still doing the YouTube thing, or?
Are you talking about Fate Destiny or Failure Photography?
Fate Destiny.
Yeah, she's got a different channel name. It's like fitness and something.
Fitness and sports, or health and fitness, or fitness and something.
Yeah.
I think she still does chats on Tuesdays, doesn't she?
I'm not sure, but her primary focus, would it be correct in saying that her primary focus is no longer guns and related items?
I think she still shoots, and it's a part of her channel, but honestly, I haven't watched anybody's YouTube channel, so I haven't seen. I don't know how regularly she posts or anything.
She doesn't pop up in my feed too often. But I'm subbed. I have too many subs. Too many subscriptions, maybe.
How many you got?
I think I'm subscribed to like 500 people.
Holy cow!
I haven't watched her since the name change.
She still does gun stuff. I mean, she went to SHOT Show with her new channel.
You should check out that Marlin 795 for a 22.
I've had one. I don't want a semi-auto. But I like that one. I had that one.
That is the one that I have right now. I mean, what it doesn't have is it doesn't have the third-party support like the Ruger 1022.
Well, you know what? The Pro Mag makes it's like the only good mag Pro Mag makes, and it's a 25 rounder for the 795. So if that's what you're looking for,
Yeah.
Pro Mag.
I'd have to have enough ammo to justify buying a magazine.
Yeah, I had a 795. I sold it to my maintenance guy, but I had an aftermarket. I put it in an aftermarket stock, and I put those fire sights on it, and I had a different charging handle on it. So I sold that. It was like $100 gun after the rebate, and I sold it to him for $200 with all the extra parts and all the original parts.
The tech peep sights really make that gun a shooter.
Yeah, I never got around to those. The fire sights were like $24, and the tech sights are like $100 or $80.
Yeah. And the price of the gun was about $100.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a good value.
Yeah, it was an awesome gun.
I mean, I get very, very good accuracy out of it. I was pleased with it. And the only time it wouldn't feed, and I really didn't expect it to, was when I put subsonic ammo, you know, that CCI quiet stuff. But I didn't expect it to cycle.
Yeah. That's just like a primer.
Right.
No, the CCI quiet's a little bit more than a primer, but they're about 795 feet per second.
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, I used to just put shorts in the chamber and shoot them, and that would be like, it's less loud than a cap gun.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't mind feeding them manually, shorts will do fine.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't like eject it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want a bolt action because I'm gonna start my 8-year-old shooting.
Look at the.
I want my own. I don't want to get him a cricket or anything like that. I just want one that I can share with him. So I want one that I enjoy myself.
Look at the Savage Mark II bolt actions.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at all of the ones they have at Dick's, and then
Dick's?
Yeah, if they don't have, it's like the only store I can get a.
Refresh my mind. What was it that Dick's did during the crisis that made him a dick?
They pulled all their
ARs.
Oh, yeah.
And they just started like ramping up their tactical stuff too. Like right when they did that, a week later, Sandy Hook happened, and they pulled all their ARs.
Yes, because they didn't want to be part of the scrutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have a Walmart that sells guns by you?
Yeah, I do.
They sell the Savage Mark II there at Walmart. For the money, they're hard to beat. They really are.
I'll check that out.
You know what else is hard to beat? My will. Mm. You want to know what else is quieter than a cap gun?
Is that because you had a good lawyer write it up for you?
No, my thoughts.
Do I need to get the Google sound effects in here?
I forgot about those.
Something I tried last night in the chat is it won't let you put a Google visual effect on another participant. Remember when they first came out, like you could put a mustache on somebody else?
Yeah.
Well, now you can only do it to yourself.
Hey, Will, is that a picture of a gun on a fire?
Yeah, it is.
I don't think that's good for it.
It's just a Heritage arm, so it doesn't matter. It's not like a Ruger or anything. They're kind of throwaway guns.
So you were shooting it one day and were like, "Fuck this! I'm throwing it in the fire."
Burning.
I beat the hell out of that gun. I'm pretty hard on all my guns. I use them more like a tool.
Uses them like a hammer.
I have.
When it's time to build a shed, you get out the Ruger.
Don't worry, you're not the only one that threw something valuable in the fire.
I had one of those New Frontier lowers break on me. We ended up burning that.
What broke on the New Frontier?
Right where the buffer tube, the threads, right where the buffer tube screws on the lower receiver.
The receiver broke? Red snake.
Yeah, the lower receiver right at the threads. It broke in about a little less than 500 rounds, between 400 and 500 rounds.
Wow. Did you hit it or anything, or any physical, or just from use?
Not, that gun got taken from a range bag to the range and back, and like nothing. Like there, that gun was still brand new, just getting broken in. It hadn't even seen the desert yet. No steel, nothing. Shooting factory ammo.
Yeah, it's like the fourth one I've heard of breaking at that
But
point.
I think that was the older style, because that was a couple years ago, right after Sandy Hook, that I bought those. I bought 3 of them, and the first one broke, and I sold the other 2.
The first one I saw break was some guy on Facebook sat on it and it just snapped right at that point. And what's his face is Jacob from these chats. His broke. I forget how his broke, but his broke at that same spot, I think. And I saw a picture of another one somewhere, and then I'm hearing about yours, so it makes 4. I don't think I'm trusting the polymer lowers.
Well, I just bought 2 new polymer lowers, but they're the Omni hybrids.
Are those
So
the copper reinforced or whatever?
I think it's zinc reinforced.
Zinc.
Yeah.
Okay.
And or maybe some kind of Zamac material. But it's some kind of zinc alloy reinforced, and I'm currently building a pistol and a carbine version out of those, and they should be done in a couple weeks, so I'll be able to try those out.
Did it take you a couple weeks because you're really slow at putting together ARs, or getting the money together?
It's money. It's expensive to put together 2 ARs at the same time for me. So, like right now, I just barely pretty much have the lowers done. I'm waiting for the uppers from Palmetto, and then I have barrels to do and handguards and a bolt carrier group.
Hey, Will, don't feel bad. It takes me like 5 weeks to put together a puzzle.
Now, to build an AR, I'd say it probably takes me like 3 months on average to get everything together from start to finish.
Jesus, that's how long my relationships last.
I don't know, I just find them fun, just to build something to work on, tinker on. It gives me something to do. I wouldn't mind getting into building AKs, getting one of those big stamps and start folding some sheet metal. I used to work with sheet metal quite a bit, so I think I could pick it up pretty fast.
How are you planning on for heat treating?
I was just going to say the same thing.
What's that?
Do you have any experience with heat treating?
No, I don't. Not at all.
Can you like do that in an oven?
Yes.
Okay.
But you need to shim it, or I don't know what you call it. You basically put a bunch of metal inserts, and then you wire it up. So, I don't want to give all the tips away, but you can't just put like a solid piece of metal in there. But you got to put a piece of metal in there that holds its shape, and then when you bring it to the temp, I don't know what they do. They bring it to temp, they cool. They bring it to temp, they cool, or whatever it is. The process. As they do that, if you didn't do anything to the receivers first, they would just come out like all twisted and bent. So they have to be held in place with jigs or whatever, and that takes a lot of time and effort, and a lot of people don't bother.
I've seen a couple kits that you can buy to start off on building. They're supposed to kind of help teach you, and I've been thinking about purchasing one.
Yeah, it would seem better to do your first off already like a receiver that's already folded and the rails are welded in and stuff. Heat treated.
Yeah, I think those are the kits I've been looking at. I think they're already folded. They just need to be drilled in a couple places, welded, I think. I think it'd be fun to do.
If you're into working with metal, it sure is.
I cut a lot of tin for a lot of years, so.
Okay, I gotta ask, were you doing gutters or what were you doing?
Heating and air conditioning, retrofit.
Ductwork.
A lot of sheet metal, transitions, a lot of sheet metal ductwork, yeah. So I've used a lot of brakes and bar folds. I don't think it can be that much more difficult to learn to fold an AK receiver and weld it. And I have a little bit of experience using a MIG and a TIG welder, so I think I could pick it up.
You basically get a fixture, you put the flat, you buy the flat from somewhere, unless you're going to start stamping flats or cutting those. That seems like a waste of time. So then you take the flat, you stick it in that fixture, and you bend it, and then you have to tack weld the rails on, and then it's a center support as a rivet. So, like you say, one of those 10-ton presses can do it. You don't need a brake or anything, though.
Yeah, it's like a hydraulic press.
Yeah, got like $160 at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And they pretty much stick against the wall of a shop or something, so they're not too obnoxious. Is that 5728?
Yeah, I picked up a box today.
FN's favorite color.
Saving that for your P90.
Yeah.
Nice.
We'll start stocking up. And of course, while I was in there, he was like, "Yeah, I got a gun up here on the shelf you might like." And he showed me a Super Blackhawk 44 Magnum. And he's like, "Yeah, guy got it, shot it once, didn't like the recoil, and wants to sell it."
So it's on consignment.
Yeah, he wants $650 for it. Comes with a $200 holster and 2 extra grips.
Nice.
Like, I might have to think about that one.
They sell for that price without the holster and the extra grip, so that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I think it's the 10-inch barrel too. So.
Oh wow.
Hey, what's the name of that place where you can go in Las Vegas and they charge you like $1,200 and you can go to this class? They'll give you the kits and you can build your AK from start to finish.
Rifle Dynamics.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Have you taken one of those G-Webs or no?
No, I've never actually been invited. I always get told about the party they have or whatever, like as it's happening.
Okay.
So I've never been to it. And then every single time I've been in Vegas, I've called Fuller to find out if I could come by and say hey and stuff, and I've never been able to.
Somebody checking out at Walmart.
Good guy in here. Oh.
Is there any other places like Rifle Dynamics that teach you how to build it, where you go and you build your AK, where they give you the parts kits and everything?
This place called Dead Goose Society is starting up. I don't know how much experience they have, but they're all over the Instagram and seem real into it. And they got their FFL, and they're starting doing it in Texas, I think the Houston area. And then that guy from that one show, the show where Sons of Guns, that one guy that got kicked off, he started his own gig, and one of the things he does is teach AK builds. And that's
the guy that got kicked off in like season 1.
Yeah, I think it's in New Orleans. I think he just moved down the street from there.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that guy.
He was like the shop supervisor.
No, he was just in the front seat there, and then they got all mad when they did something, let that son-in-law do something, or I don't remember, whatever. Yeah, he left, though.
Yeah.
He was in somebody's chat, though, and talking about that.
Oh, okay.
Might have been Tech Girl Lola.
Yeah, I mean, I saw part of the seasons, and it did seem that the boyfriend at that time, future son-in-law, was getting way preferential treatment than the rest of the guys in the shop.
Yeah, the guy left because he was getting no respect, like
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, I mean, he had gone to a real gunsmithing school, and they were given this guy who had no education whatsoever, lead on high priority projects in the shop, and then depending on everyone else to actually do the work.
They're still kind of sketchy. Him and Stephanie, his wife.
Yeah.
Will Hayden's daughter or whatever, they're selling this AK on Facebook yesterday, and they wouldn't answer anybody's question to what kind of AK it was. They had to like beat it out of them. But there was like a bunch of people ready to buy it. They were like, I want that. What? I was like, who the hell wants to buy an AK? I don't even know what country it's from. Or
I mean, did it have their shop name on it or something, or?
No, I think it was just one they had laying around or something. It was a Romanian. It wasn't a Wasser. It had the dimples.
I mean, that seems like a pretty basic question.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought like some of those people at Red Jack are pretty sketchy, especially the son-in-law. I didn't really like him. He looked like a sleaze.
Yeah.
Do you think they're still married then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're still together.
I've seen them at shot twice now, I think. Just like walking down, like, when you park, like I drive there, so I park and then have to walk in. And they must do, they must have a rental or stay in that hotel. Because I've seen them twice, like in the hotel as I'm walking out to the parking lot.
Huh.
Yeah, they got their own gun shop going or something.
But she didn't strike me as much of a prize either.
No, she's not. Not at all.
And so I figured, she got something similar as to what she is.
There was whatever happened at one. There was a one gun shop out in California called Aries Arms, and they got in trouble with the ATF for something having to do with their lowers. About it didn't meet federal regulations, and they got in trouble. Are they still around?
No, I think they were just getting they're still around. I think they were just getting harassed about their 80% lowers. The ATF wanted information.
Someone bought them out. I guess a big company bought them out.
It was a dead youth society gun.
I think they were drilling out the trigger slots in those lowers, and the ATF didn't like that.
What happens sometimes is when the ATF starts harassing a smaller business and they end up spending the little money they have on attorneys, they have no money left to actually, when it's over, to continue to run the company. Sometimes.
The ATF wanted an inventory of all their 80% lowers, but they're not firearms, so they really had no authority to get the inventory from there.
And they wanted the customers' names. I think that was also the case. And They were like, weren't they? Well, Saber's arms situation was a little different because they were selling overseas or got in a little bit of trouble, and they had to end up selling their or liquidating their whole factory.
But giving out names for 80% lowers is not the kind, you don't want to be known for setting that precedent.
I mean, once, like, I think it was you, Dano. I mean, once the government sinks its teeth in, it's hard to let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when they want to make an example out of you, or depending on the atmosphere and the administration about what they feel about guns. I mean, they're gonna come after you to make themselves look busy. Yeah. Hey, whatever happened to that other gun show called American Guns? Did they get chased out or something, or?
They got canceled. Now the guys.
Dude, right?
Yeah, I don't think they got renewed. But the guy did get in trouble recently for theft. He had some guy's guns or something, and he got charged with theft.
I kind of heard something about that, but not the whole story.
Like the store owner stole guns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to defend the guy, but I mean, I could see gun shops, all kinds of weird situations where maybe he was storing somebody's guns and then they moved out of state and he wanted
Yeah,
to charge them for
I don't
storage
think he
or
was,
something, and they're like, "Oh, you stole them."
I don't think he was blatantly like stealing someone's guns. I think it was a misunderstanding that just
He
happened.
probably did some work on it.
Piss off the guy whose guns they were, and ended up being illegal. And what can you do but lawyer up?
And then there was another gun show. That one probably got canceled, called Kentucky Guns, or it was a bunch of family-owned shop that sold guns and bought and trade. They were out there. I think it went on for a very short time. But
I never saw that one.
yeah, I mean, I think all the gun shows are gone now, all the reality gun shows. So, I mean, there was a peaking point, and then it all just came collapsing down.
I forget what day it was, but one of them sports networks or outdoors channel maybe. I don't know if I even get that, but one of those channels, they had like a 4-hour long show on just guys reviewing and testing and checking out all these guns, and like every commercial was a gun commercial. It was Daniel Defense and Ruger and Glock, and it was crazy to see all that on TV.
It was God. Yeah, they had a whole bunch of shows on Wednesdays, NBC Sports.
Yeah,
What kind of
they're in
noodles
that.
do we eat? I know we had a bet on that earlier.
What's that?
We had a bet on what kind of noodles you were eating.
Ah, and what was the top contender?
Some sort of chili in a blender.
Saltines and ramen chicken.
Yeah, so what it was the Sportsman's Channel.
All I know is that Crimson Trace is starting to get on my nerves because every time I watch an outdoorsman channel or whatever, it's Crimson Trace.
Yep, those are the sponsors.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out whether Crimson Trace got more money to advertise, or if they lowered the price to advertise, that they could suddenly afford to advertise everywhere.
That's a good question. LaserMax seems to be stepping it up a little bit too.
Crimson Traces always seem to be $2.99 every time I look.
Yeah, they haven't charged more, but they've come out with lasers for new guns at a crazy rate. So they're probably, I'm sure they are capitalizing on every new gun that comes out, you know. So why wouldn't they advertise? It doesn't matter if you're a Ruger fan or Smith & Wesson or Colt or Glock. They're making something for you.
And you know, for the most part, they're known for not making garbage.
Exactly, and as long as I would think they've got pretty effective advertising. I'm not no marketing expert, but all they have to do is be on what do they call it, like a household name, and then no one's really, unless they've had a bad experience, I guess, and that's few and far between. Nobody's gonna really be discouraging them. Whereas I won't even say the competitors, but they've got two big competitors, which quite honestly put out garbage once in a while. Now they definitely they do more risk, they do more stuff than just plain old laser grips all the time, but they definitely put out some lemons, the other companies. So all Crimson Trace really has to do is let people, remind people, hey, we're the top of the heap. Probably it's probably real effective for them.
How much do you think it cost them to make like a pair of their 1911 laser Crimson Trace grips? How much do you think their cost is?
Probably about $30.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm guessing they wholesale them. Usually you're getting on an accessory, about 40%, 50% if you're lucky. So if they're wholesaling them at half the price, they cost $300. So maybe they cost a little more than that. I don't know. They do go through a level before the distributor. There's the wholesaler and then the store. So if they're wholesaling them at 150 to 200, then maybe the wholesaler gets them at 10-15% below that, and then they want to make something on each one.
And the one, to be honest, that a couple of factors that we don't know is what was their R&D to bring that product to market, and how are they looking to break their R&D level off in 5 years, off in a year? I mean, because that plays a role. It's not just what it costs off the factory. That's just one factor of several.
Good point. They're a company that hasn't. In one way, they haven't innovated at all, and in another way, they constantly innovate. So their like machine hasn't changed, as far as I know, very much at all, except for just recently with green, I guess. But then their buttons have changed a little bit, and their materials have changed. But they haven't cut new ground. There isn't some laser bullet or something, right? So I'm thinking they're really just a matter of how they adapt to the new guns and their relationships with the new gun companies and stuff. Because that's the only part and it can't cost nothing. They come out with them for every single gun. So I guess the only thing I can think of them doing different was the wrap around the trigger guard type of lights for the guns that don't have rails.
Oh, right. Like the bodyguards, Smith & Wesson bodyguards, they make that gun look cooler, I think.
Yeah, even the 26 and the 27 and the
right.
All M&Ps already have one, but anyway, and then the guns that don't have grip panels like Glocks and Glocks and XDs, I guess. They get big, so adding something up front was one way to go. But anyway, that can't be that much R&D, right? They're like, here, take the same laser, the same switch, the same materials, and shove it up there instead of over there. And they're used to shoving stuff around, so I wouldn't even hardly call that an innovation. So I think their costs are probably pretty basic. They're making rubber, plastic, and little lasers. They're buying those somewhere, right? By the billion. But you look at like one of the other companies where they're putting the laser on the back of the sight, they're jamming it on the side of a revolver, you know, they're making a bullet, they're doing all kinds of stuff. Um, those are the ones they seem like they're spending a lot more time and effort coming up with new ideas. That's the cost you're talking about, right?
Right. That's, I mean, being on the cutting edge versus one step behind everybody else.
Because I just don't see Crimson Trace spending all kinds of money on R&D. I think they just spend their money on adapting to the new gun that's going to come out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Good point.
So I don't know. I think that particular company they're just making a lot of money, you know, or I don't know how much it costs to adapt, things, but they're not coming up with a new mousetrap each time.
Yeah.
I wonder how decent those knockoff laser grips that you see for like $30 on Amazon and eBay. I wonder how good those are.
I have no idea.
Because really, I mean, they're making lasers now that, you know, you can buy a laser pointer for like $1 at the check stand at the grocery store. I mean, a pair of 1911 plastic grips and a pressure switch and a laser, it can't be that hard to put, you know, to build one. And
Well, keep in mind the vibration, the shock that these things have to endure regularly.
but
these aren't just laser pointers.
you know, ever since I've owned a 1911 for like 15 years now, I've looked at those laser grips from Crimson Trace, and they've been like $300 the entire 15 years. And that's why I've never bought one, is because, I mean, I can't justify that kind of expense, $300 for just, you know, a set of grips, basically.
I think part of that is just, where's the competition to make that exact
They're
same
able to
product?
keep it at the same price. That means they are bringing the price down. They're doing it cheaper, and they're putting it out there cheaper. I mean, you know, they haven't grown with inflation.
Well, honestly speaking, we haven't had inflation for 5 years.
That's a good point. But Crimson Trace, like you said, has been $300 basically forever. They were like 2 something, and now they're maybe 3-ish. I think they're totally worth it. I own them on every gun that I think is worth it. I just buy them used.
I mean, they seem like a decent product.
Oh, they're awesome.
I've been following this new guy on YouTube, or I don't know how new he is, but he's from Australia, and he makes these magnetic lasers for guns without rails.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about picking one of those up for my 1911.
Well, they're hardly new. Those have been around since the 90s at gun shows.
Since the 90s, yeah, I just barely came across them. I've never seen one before that was magnetic like that.
Well, magnets are strong, but recoil is there, and physics always happens, and Murphy's Law. So I don't know. It might be neat for playing around and shooting at a raccoon or something, but I wouldn't want to put it on a gun that was my life or my family's life was at risk. Turns out your bad guy has an anti-magnetic ray and night vision.
I think his use also like a 3M tape too. It's magnetic. It's magnets and a piece of like 3M tape.
Oh.
And he makes them for all sorts of obscure guns, all sorts of old guns, and just, you know, that if someone has an old gun, that's all they have, and they want to be able to put a light or a laser on it, you know. So he hand builds them all in his shop in Australia. That's all the guy does, is just work at home and build these custom magnetic lights for all sorts of obscure guns.
You know, just the word tape, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
I don't know, that 3M industrial tape, that stuff's pretty strong. It holds pictures up on my walls at home.
Well, I mean for a permanent solution for mounting it. I mean, unless you live in California where you're constantly getting, earthquakes. Again, it goes back to shock and vibration.
So a while back, or I guess the other day, Jaeger, can I switch topics? Jaeger put out a video about, I think he's doing a series on like crazy internet crap or rumors, or not rumors, but stupid
those
internet.
ones he does in the car?
No, he was just doing it in front of a screen. But anyway, it was about the concept of, I don't like all that stuff on my gun or something.
Yeah.
See that one? And it was basically like, to sell a gun, you don't need a whole bunch of guns, and if you got a bunch of guns, go sell one and get some night vision so that you can use your gun at night or whatever. I guess calling out the people that only use, they're like, oh, I don't want all that stuff for my gun, and then they own a gun that works 12 hours of the day. So with that in mind, would any of you guys sell your stuff or spend the money that you would spend on new stuff to get night vision?
How
Not
much
night
is
vision.
night vision?
Well, I'll bring
Night
it up.
vision's like what, 2,500, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know if it's that much. Let's find out.
There's actually some really good European night vision systems, but you just can't import them, and they're relatively cheap, like $600, and they're actually great, and you just can't import them.
That's all right. We want U.S. stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's just some stupid lie. They got to be made in the U.S. So, but there's plenty of European night vision systems for hunting and tactical, and they're relatively cheap and expensive, and they're just as good as quality as the new Gen 3 stuff that they're selling here for over $3,000.
So I just went to TNVC, decent company, and if I go down to night vision, I don't know, I'll go with monocular, because that'll probably be the cheapest. And we'll probably go with a PVS 14, which is pretty much what like a standard dude is going to get issued. Actually, the GT 14 looks like the civilian version of that without the laser. It's 22. No, that's not what we want. It would be 3,500. So let's say $4,000 potentially to get us something out that you could see in the dark. Would you sell something worth $4,000 or save up and then buy $4,000 worth of the ability to see in the dark?
I would make my own.
If I was going to, I would save up.
Well, I guess that was the question, though. Would you?
Would I save up for it? I don't know.
I mean, if I was going to be a civilian contractor, sure, I'd get it, but I'm not.
If that was going to be, I don't know, if that was going to be my main home defense weapon, like he said in the video, then I guess I'd find a way. But I don't see it happening anytime in the near future.
I don't know. I'm just figuring this out from when you just said that, but it seems like maybe a point of his video was, what's the point of having, like I have, that much money in collections, probably, of crap that are pointless, except for my novelty or whatever. But, he's probably saying, what's the point of having all that when you can't see in the dark? And that's 12 hours.
If it's a home defense gun, I mean...
I'm talking about home defense. I'm just talking about in general. I mean, if you really own a firearm, to think that you might actually need to use the firearm, how many of us can actually use the firearm those hours of the day?
I was going to say, I found some night vision rifle scopes pretty cheap off of Optic Planet.
So would you use scope or monocular, like where you hold it, or goggle where it's on your helmet?
Ooh.
What about the kind you just flip in front of your aim point?
That would be a scope. But you
So
can take that off sometimes and use it like monocle or monocular.
So are they like $4,000?
Yeah, a tube is basically what you're paying for. The configuration is either going to be like somehow put a crosshair in it and mount it to a rifle, or the same tube is going to be in some configuration where it fits on your helmet and the battery pack is probably behind it. or it's going to be in a configuration where it's kind of like a thing like he uses in Empire Strikes Back, where it's just like a fancy set of binoculars where it's all in one unit. I personally tend to go with those, the handheld binoculars, because of all the stuff I've used, you can use it for the most stuff. But obviously, if you want to shoot through it, that's less appealing than one that's mounted to your gun. I don't see putting them on your helmet unless you're like you're flying a helicopter or driving or something.
Yeah, I think so. It's a hard question to answer without saying, what do you do for a living? Where do you live? Do you have a family? I mean, because there's things like, we talked about it's more for than just at home, but using that just as an example, using night lights that use batteries in case the power's cut. I mean, there's all sorts of ways to get light where you need it, as well as simple night sights.
Well, plus if you got a flashlight on your
flashlight in your pocket.
Flashlight's a lot different, though. So if you think about hunting, you're out there shining a flashlight around, some critter's going to see you shining your flashlight around, right? Spook and leave. But a bad guy, same thing, right? Your flashlight works, but it's not tactical, for the actual use of the word tactical.
Yeah.
Giving yourself an advantage at night or I guess putting on night vision is giving yourself an advantage at night. You're not giving away your location at all, and you're able to, I don't know, I guess is it analogous to whatever to putting on electronic ears? Everybody's like, oh no, I got foams. I don't need to pay a lot of money for electronic ears. That's ridiculous because foams cost like a quarter, right? You can buy a handful of them for $1 still, or you pay what, $50 for the most basic set of electric and up to hundreds. But I think all of us that have used electric ears can go, oh, okay, there's a massive difference between foam plugs and electric as far as the potential safety of the electric, and if you were in a situation where you needed to hear people walk in, it's like electronic ears. That's sort of what night vision does. You can shine a flashlight, and that's okay, but night vision is everything in all directions as far as you can see, basically, or at least very far. You're not limited to the focus of your beam of your light and the direction that you're pointing in.
But you're also not going to pull it out until there's an imminent threat.
I don't know.
I mean, you're not.
Nobody in here has used one. I mean, they didn't even exist when we were in, but it sounds like some of these guys get issued them and they don't pay them no regard because they're just like a set of binoculars. They need them when they need them, kind of thing. I get the impression they just stuck them in their pouch. Whenever they need them, they bring them up to their head and use them. But when they need them, there's nothing stopping somebody. One person with night vision changes the odds, right? It changes the playing field against numerous and almost unlimited number of people that don't have the night vision at night.
Well, are we talking about civilians concealed carrying, or are we talking about being in the service?
I'm talking about individuals, us.
Oh, okay.
But we can take from the knowledge of these guys that are out there using it that it's not something that's so like fragile. It has to be kept in a little foam case and brought out like with symphony music, with a big production. It's just something you stick in your pocket. Unfortunately, it costs too much. They should have Obama night vision.
What about night vision for a home defense gun? What kind of range? Like, would night vision be good for, the average distance inside your home?
Well, I mean, but again, I'm gonna take the cost angle again between properly located mirrors in your home and using night lights with battery backups. Strategically located. You should be able to get something that is reasonably effective.
Well, I hear you. Cost is definitely insane. That's why I don't have any. But I wish everybody had them. I think they're super good for home defense.
Oh yeah.
Bring up a magic tube and see in the dark. It's awesome.
I mean, if they were $200, I'd absolutely want one.
So,
How about a monocular, Dana? Night vision monocular for $154.
Yeah, that's Gen 1 though. You can get those. And they're not bad. They work, except they can't amplify. They just see. So if you use them in combination with a IR flashlight, a good light that'll like flood out a whole area with IR light, then they actually work decent for the money.
You know, it's funny. I was just going to mention that about how if you have someone else on the other side who has night vision and how they can see you trying to see them.
Yeah, but I'd rather know that they're looking at me than not know if they're looking at me or not. Right now, there's hardly anybody. I'm trying to scroll on this screen. I'm like, what's wrong with my computer? I can't scroll. Right now, I don't think too many bad guys are using it. So
Oh, no.
right now, it's not that we have to worry too much about enemies using it against us, unless we're talking about people we pay to go against.
It's just like suppressors. I mean, they're not using that either. But the lower the cost, the more the more it becomes justified.
What gen is that one for 500?
550. It's a Gen 1, but it says it's got same technology found on Gen 2 and Gen 3 models.
It says it has a built-in illuminator, so that probably is the way of the future, is to take the old tubes and stick way better lights on them, make them look militarized, and then sell them that way. If that one was like $2, I'd be down with that one.
Built-in infrared illuminator, yep.
I mean, my understanding is that the illuminators were typically off, so you didn't constantly broadcast yourself.
Yeah, in a real war or whatever, because you got enemies potentially using it, but sentry duty or whatever, I mean, you're already there, so there's no hiding. So, but you turn it off probably to save battery more than anything.
Are they infrared illuminators or visible light illuminators?
No, infrared.
Infrared.
You don't see nothing. It's just like looking at a remote control for a TV. You see red if you look right at it, but otherwise you don't see nothing.
Because I know I've got an old cheapy one, and it's, you know, it works good enough for what I need it for. I can see things at night with it.
But what you should do then is, I haven't done videos in a while, actually. We haven't done that stuff. But you get I got a really cheap, maybe like $25 head for a good flashlight, like the standard Surefire flashlight. Put that IR head into it with good batteries, and that thing pushes out so much IR light that even that bad, old, rickety Gen 1 tube, it can't help itself but work really well. That's what it can do. It can pick up. It just can't enhance. So as long as you flood it, it's like, oh, here, it's almost like a Gen 3. Well, it's like a Gen 2. But I've looked at, there's so many Gen 3s that I don't know if I could go back. It's so crisp and clear. It's just like looking, and there's the thing that bugs me, is why don't they put LED, or I mean IR camera heads, like from a camcorder, out the front, and then a little TV screen like the viewfinder on a camcorder out the back, and then maybe it could even record, and then make, you know, don't do it with actual infrared technology or with night vision tech, with the optical enhancing tubes and all that shit. Just do it with electric, with keys and a camera.
There are several guys on YouTube that have built, you know, kits like that.
You would think that could be a lot smaller too, because the collection tube is a physical size. That's why they're always so dang long.
That's what they use over in England on their air rifles. Is those cameras? They just butt it right up against the scope of the gun.
And then it just blows out the enhanced view out the viewfinder.
Yeah.
And that would be sweet. Plus, it would make it so you can keep both eyes open and just look at it like a TV screen.
Yeah, because I was watching the one channel over there was shooting rats at night with the air rifles.
So, what do you do in a half an hour, Yankee, or an hour and a half?
Well, it depends on whether Matt's available. If Matt's available, we can just go to half an hour.
Well, Stone Guy's after, so it'd probably be polite to do it so that it ends.
Right, what now?
Stone Guy's got his show after TAC, so we should probably do it so whatever time that lines up with that.
So I do it right after Stone Guy does his, or what?
No, right before him. I'm saying.
Okay, what time does he start his? What time does Tack Daddy start?
9.
So 6 my time?
Yeah.
Yeah, in about 30 minutes.
So I'm competing with Tack Daddy?
Yeah.
How am I going to get any viewers?
I think they're all available.
I don't know. It's going to be tough. I think you had like 100 last time. Tac Daddy usually like tops out at 17.
We had 200 on ours.
There you go.
I think our highest hit at like 203 or something like that for a couple seconds, and then went down to like 196.
You don't have to be in it. You can go start it now so that it announces on your channel.
Yeah, let me go
So
see.
your viewers get it in their subscription list, I think, whenever you launch it.
I'll go
Yeah.
Not actually start.
Let me get my TV on up here. YouTube.
Well, thanks for having me tonight. I gotta get ready for work, so
All right, Mr.
have
Pitt,
a good one, guys.
have a good one.
Live events. Schedule a new event. I hope I'm doing this right again. Title.
Yeah, I'm going to go eat and get ready for the Tac Daddy show.
Yeah.
Psych. But yeah, gotta go eat. Gotta stuff my face.
All right. So, G-Webs, did you want me to shut this one down when you guys finally get the other one started up?
Up to you. Like I said, we built the place so we could have parallel stuff.
Okay.
If you want to keep going, keep going.
All right. Well, I'll see if anybody else joins in or not.
Yeah, that might be an indicator if there's people that want to chat.
So, if you're listening and you want to keep this going, look for the link over at Gun Channels. If it's not there now, I'll make sure it's there now.
Is it just me, or I feel like we've had so many random chats that we haven't done anything, like even Every Second Matters ended up kind of being just a kind of whatever happens. We haven't really done any, I'm trying to say, like, structured look at how things are going and what states are doing or anything like that. So we're trying to do something like that, you think? Okay.
Well, I guess I got to end this. I got to get out of this one to start the other one.
Only if you're going to start the other one. You don't have to start it for it to go live on your channel.
Yeah.
You can set a start time, like in a half an hour or whatever, and then an end time whenever you feel like it, and then it'll just schedule it for that time and let everybody know.
Actually, it's not showing up in my thing. It's showing up in live events. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
it'll only show up in live events. It won't show up in the feed until it's actually rendered into a video.
Right, because it's a scheduled live event.
But I still think your subs get something to tell them about it.
Yes.
We shall see.
In fact, An interesting sound effect.
So you got a patch wall going, Dano?
What's that?
You have a patch wall or a patch panel or something going?
Oh, I use the inside ceiling of my car.
Oh, okay.
It seems to
So you
work
got
well.
plenty of room then.
Oh yeah.
I sent you a bunch of those 2A ones so you could give them away or hand them out or whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. Try to fade in the music tonight first before we start.
That was pretty good, just like that, playing it.
But what I'm going to do is I'll just start it.
All right, I'm here today with.
Oops, that ain't it. There it is. So I will just start this. Let it play for a second. And then I'll fade it down about halfway and talk over and say, hey, welcome to our second edition of Shooting Left of Center, blah, blah, blah. And then just kind of talk over it. And then I'll either let it fade out on its own or I'll fade it down. What's going on outside my fucking house right now? I'm going to go see what
And do I email you my theme music, or how does that happen?
That would be interesting to you, Webbs. If you had theme music, what the heck would it be?
I don't know.
What type of do you listen to music at all, or?
I've heard it before.
I know you've heard it. Don't be a smarty. I mean, I can assume because of when I have a vague idea when you kind of grew up as a young man, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you still listen to the same type of music.
I don't remember what I listened to when I was a kid. I listened to stupid crap when I was a kid. Whatever was on the radio.
I mean, is country real big out there?
No, not really. I mean, there's a country bar that I can think of. There must be a couple more. I think there's a place with bedding that has country music. Or maybe I just don't look for it, so I don't know. But I don't think it's very big. You don't see that many cowboys walking around.
damn neighbor's trimming his, got his hedges being fucking trimmed. I hope he stops that.
I suspect if I went out into the country more, into the desert, it might be more popular.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much in the city, though, so it's just city.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you prefer older, like, classic rock music? Do you like pop? Do you like classical symphony music? What?
Yeah, I don't have a type. I just like a lot of stuff, so I think it's very eclectic.
Pretty much exclusively Asian gangster rap, right?
That's what you like, Yankee?
I'm saying that's what you're just pretty much exclusive Asian gangster rap.
No. But I do like a lot of stuff, so pretty varied. I don't listen to very much country or western, though.
Yeah, country western's about the only thing I don't listen to.
I mean, there's a lot of music types I like, but only a few that I can't stand. I can't stand opera. I can't stand rap.
I listen to all kinds of that, but there's a...
You listen to rap, Yankee?
That's like saying country. There's a lot of types of it, or saying rock. There's a lot of types of rap. Yankee don't listen to rap.
Well, that's like, opera. There's lots of types of opera, yet I can clearly say I shouldn't say hate, I dislike most opera.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I like...
But the thing is,
I like classical symphonies, though.
But not all of them.
But not all of them. Well, I like classic
The thing
rock,
is
but I
with-
don't like all of them either.
I think we grew up in a good time where there was choices on the radio. It wasn't like back in Yankees' day where there was like one radio station or two or whatever. So we had choices on the radio, and then CDs and cassettes were everywhere, or CDs just happened when I got old enough to buy them, and then now the internet. So you know what I'm saying? I don't think there probably are people that just like one type of music, but if you like different types of music, there's like an unlimited supply of new stuff out there, right? And then with the devices, I mean, that would be an interesting talk, I guess, sometime. It's not gun related, but yeah, I mean, we went through, I guess, radios and then cassette players and then the ability to record off the radio. So must have some people had a lot of cassettes with their songs on it that they liked so they could listen to them, because we didn't think about quality. I mean, I'm listening to the song I like, otherwise I would be humming it, so it's awesome quality. But then CDs happened. I don't remember we copied CDs onto tape, but I don't remember making CDs or anything. But then when computers happened, that changed everything again. So anyway, I think we grew up in a neat time where we were able, and we knew there was an option to listen to a lot of music, and then there's no stopping how much music you can have available to you now. My little player thing has like 2 gig of different kind of songs and stuff on it, and music. Heck, I downloaded the Russian anthem for a video one time, and I play that thing once in a while, just because it shows up and I don't feel like going over and clicking fast forward. And then same thing with some kind of Tai Chi music somehow got on there. I keep thinking it's like the beginning of a rap song or something, and then 5 minutes later it's still going. I'm like, oh well, I'll just leave it go. What do you listen to?
Well, I told you when I started off.
So classical and rock?
Classical symphonies, classic rock. I'm not really into country music, especially the old twangy stuff. Some older stuff that's not really classic rock, like Doobie Brothers. You know, that's not what I would call classic rock, but it is older rock. And other stuff.
I like bluegrass. When you say twangy country, are you counting bluegrass in there?
I don't know enough to figure out what category it is. But you know, there is some country that I like, but it's very hit or miss. But you know, I can tolerate. The only thing I can't tolerate is opera and rap. Otherwise, pretty much everything else, I'll either enjoy it or I can live with it.
I don't listen to much rap at all. I like musicians, people that actually have talent and skill.
What was the name of the music before it was called rap?
So, are you saying that rap doesn't have any skill because it's done with electronic devices?
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, they have algorithms and computer programs that just pretty much put the songs together for them. A lot of the rap actually takes music from other songs, from rock or country, and then they just slightly alter it and add some things in, but that's the same beat, rhythm, everything stolen from a popular rock song. I mean, and they.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know how much you get into music, and I'm no like super scholar on it, but I know enough to know that rock came from blues, and that blues came from something before it, and that came from something before it. And if you look at, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the funny little things that go around online where they'll take the same beat and they'll slap down like 6 or 8 dozen different songs because they're all using really the same beat. I mean, music is music. There's only so many things, so to suggest that it's less of a valid form because it's sampling things of the past, that's
Well, I'm not talking about just sampling. I'm talking about blatant plagiarism, where they've specifically taken a song and just, I mean, it has the same riff. I mean, it's the same song. It's the same guitar, everything
sure.
from a you know, but they don't give credit to, you know, Aerosmith or whoever they took it from.
When have you ever seen one that didn't give credit, dude? I mean, they literally have to if they're on a recording label. It's going to be all written in the fine print everywhere they got that okay from. I mean, unless you're talking about a garage band or something that's just doing it, and in which case, as soon as they make a dime off of it, they're going to have to go pay for the royalties or whatever to do that. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but then how do you discredit any artist that sings a cover of another artist's song? Because that would literally be the same song, right? Is it paying homage or is it stealing? So to suggest that again that it's not. I mean, I know what you're saying, and I don't care if you like rap or not. I could really give a shit. I don't get paid either way. But I mean, just it doesn't hold to say that it's not artistically like there's not.
Well, I'll agree. There is a certain amount of talent, and you know, and they have to know how to rhyme, and you know, and do certain things.
Dude, and I'm sorry. I mean, I don't care one way or the other, but you sound ridiculous if you suggest that all rap is rhyming. That's bringing it down to as simplistic as saying all rock and roll is long hair and guitar.
Oh no, not at all. I agree with you. They have to have a certain amount of skill. It's just I think it's a whole different skill set to play an instrument.
It's a different skill set, perhaps, but is it any different? Can you suggest that playing a piano is any less impressive than playing one of the massive, like, organs that have rows and rows of keys and pedals? I mean, like, I suggest that there's accomplished, whatever, musicians in all kinds of things. So I'm just saying, I mean, again, I don't know, I'm not really...
Well, I don't know too much about it. Just from what I've seen, like...
They're just literally going in and clicking, and they've got no talent, is not giving credit to the immense amount of talent. I've played around with just playing with, like, putting a YouTube video together and trying to get the damn audio where I needed it to be, and to suggest that an electronic device isn't an instrument. I mean, they definitely display talent when they're able to wield the electronic device the way a guitarist can make, you know.
Well, how much work do they do versus like the computer? Is what I'm wondering. I don't know. I've never, you know, how much? It seems to me like their computers do a lot of the work.
Composer of a piece,
How do I contact Matt?
or the singer, or the person who puts it all together, the mixer, or is it the person that brings all those people together and pays them and makes it happen? I mean, everybody contributes. I don't think that, again, it's valid to say that they don't have talent because they're not manipulating strings.
Well, they're not making the sounds. The computer's making the sounds. They're just putting it together, right? And those sounds that are on the computer we're taking from something else, right?
What's up?
I'm going to go ahead and go over to the other room. I don't know how to get a hold of Matt. I guess I'll
give him the link. Give me the link, and I'll give him the link.
All right, I'll mess with the link.
I guess I got to go. But yeah, I mean, if you have any interest at all, rap is a lot more than just that, for sure. Just the olden days of let's grab a sampler and hit the button a bunch of times and jump around and be different. But that's like saying Elvis was if you suggest that Elvis was like the end of rock and roll, he just was out there doing his thing at the time, and I'm sure everybody that hated him had all kinds of reasons, but now what that's turned into is insane. I mean, I'm using that as an analogy. If you go from Elvis being one of the first rock and rolls to the, like, variety and, you know, expanse of whatever flavor of rock that's out there, it's the same thing with rap. I mean, it's crazy interesting, and it definitely has a lot of electronicness to it, electronic elements to it, but that's a whole different set of skills is all I guess I'm getting at. Not lesser skills, for sure.
What I'm going to do, I put a note over at Gun Channels. I'm going to leave this room open while Yankees chat is running, in case anybody wants to jump in. I put a link over there in case you're interested. So the room will be available if anybody wants it. because I know you're about to leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off too. I'm gonna go get dinner.
Okay. All right, Will.
You are closing the room?
Khalid.
You're leaving the room open?
Yeah, I was. I actually I didn't realize you had just jumped in.
Yeah, I just got here.
But I just put I don't know how much you heard of what I just said, but I put a note over on the inside of Gun Channels saying that I was just going to leave this because this room has only been open for about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
So I was just going to leave it. I mean, I don't need to be here, but
Right.
I was just going to leave it open, and then later on people can use it or not use it if they don't want to.
That's good. Yeah, that'd be fine because I'll probably hop back in later.
Okay, so I mean, if somebody jumps in here the next, few minutes, obviously you're welcome to stay. Well, you're welcome to stay regardless.
All right, sounds good. So Yankee's doing his chat tonight, right? So that's all that's going on. And
yeah, he's gonna start up probably a little bit after.
Geoff just said he's live.
Yeah, but a little bit after the top of the hour, he'll probably start up.
Oh, Geoff just put in the external that he's live, so I think he just started.
Oh wow, that's quick.
So yeah, this will be here though. I guess anybody wants to come in and have a lobby chat. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave the lobby open with the keys in the chat, and I'll probably try to come back every 20 minutes or so and post it if for some reason it's moved.
All right, that's cool. I'll probably just be jumping around and.
For those of you, we do have some people actually listening. Go to the Yankee Marshals either YouTube channel or come on over to Gun Channels and look up the Yankee Marshal. He has a chat he's currently doing. It's kind of a different style. It's a 3-person chat where you kind of have one person as kind of a semi-moderator and the other point doing kind of a point-counterpoint type format to it. At least that's my understanding to it. I have no idea who's taking which role. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and leave it live, but I'm going to sign off. So.
All right, sounds good.
All right, we'll catch you later, Khalid.
Thanks. Later.
Boy, this is exciting.
Hey, Quark. Quark,
Hey,
come in, my man. What's going on? What's really going on, brother? How you feeling?
stupid doctors, that's all I gotta say.
What do they say, that you got like extra superpowers?
Nah, they threw me on, no, I gotta take twice the blood pressure medication, even though my numbers were the same as last time.
Well, you're twice as big as a normal man.
Ugh.
Well, thank you.
Actually, they were just slightly better than last time, but it's 138 over 78 was today.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Quark.
Which, you know, according to the scale is fair. Not like I've got extremely high blood pressure or anything like that.
Oh, not like you got. Do you got pre-hypertension?
No. No, I'm gonna take a frickin' hour out of my day for 2 minutes in the frickin' doctor's office.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's what really gets to me.
Oh, they gotta squeeze the blood out of the turnip somehow.
Yeah, Quark, something I'll share with you. I have to go to the hospital once a month, whether I like it or not. Something that I've started doing a couple months ago, because I got tired of the doctor's time being so much more valuable than mine, yet I have to pay him, is I go in there, I review the information with the nurse, and then I say, all right, I'm going to be in the waiting room watching TV. When you think he's within a few minutes of being ready to see me, you come get me. I'll be out there.
You've got TV?
In the waiting room.
Still, you got TV in the waiting room?
I leave the patient's room. I go out back to the waiting room, and I watch TV.
That's nice you got TV.
Well,
that waiting room has magazines from like the 1970s.
Well, it's in a hospital, which is probably the only reason why.
Oh, this is in an urgent care. You know, they have, instead of using emergencies, the urgent. It's the same location as the urgent care.
Well, doesn't urgent care usually always have like news on or something?
Yeah.
Nope. It just, in this room I'm waiting for the doctor, there's no window. It's like being held hostage in a closet.
Oh, I know. If they would leave me alone in there, at least I could fill my pockets up with freaking gloves.
Yeah.
And it was 75 out, so it was, nice outside. But inside the hospital, it's like 65.
I like a cold hospital. 65? It's not bad.
That's comfortable.
You only have shorts and a t-shirt?
Well, I know, but like I would prefer it to be nice and cold, because that way if somebody passes away next to me, I don't smell. That's why I like it cold. And on top of that, I sleep better when it's just a little bit cold. Around 70 is an ideal room temperature for me. Anything below that, then I got a double blanket. But, it's perplexing in a way. But like I said, I prefer... Well, it just depends what kind of condition I'm in. If I got like a broken leg in the hospital, 74. If I'm feeling ill in surgery, 65 to 63 maybe.
Let's just say I keep my house in winter at 60, and getting used to the spring weather, I'm like t-shirts, shorts, and I'm still hot.
Oh, you always will be hot, Quark.
And my window's open. It's almost 70 in my room right now.
Yeah.
I should take my t-shirt off and get more comfortable, but that's not gonna happen.
Do what you want to do, brother. It's your house. It's your house. If you want to get butt naked, you can get butt naked.
No, they yell at me for that.
No. That's what closed doors are for, Quark. You close the door, and you do it that way.
Yeah, now I gotta go in again next Thursday for another blood pressure check, and that's gonna be another frickin' hour out of my day.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I asked The reception. What if I don't show up 15 minutes before my scheduled wait time? Well, this is gonna take you like 15 minutes longer.
Yeah. I went to
Really?
this. I think they have to get a minimum of $1,000 out of you before they can start operating on you or doing anything with you. They got to be like, okay, is he at 1,000 yet? Yes, he is. Let's start on him then. And then for people, he's about $300 right now. He's not such a priority. They literally like, okay, before he gets out of here, he's about 600. We're ready to send him off. What? 600? We don't send him out of here until at least past $1,000.
Yeah, well, trust me, I know how expensive freaking hospital stays is.
Yeah.
This just driving me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So if doubling the doses, then I'm going to end up getting freaking 10 milligrams of lisinopril.
Oh, Jesus. Man, like I said, if I was in your shoes, I would have pulled down my pants, bent over, and said, here you guys go. Here's some ink cartridges from the printer. And here's a thank you note, and let me know when you guys are done.
Well, hopefully next week they'll actually write me if they're going to do this, at least write me a prescription so I can get a larger dose and not have to pay as much. You know, a larger quantity and not have to pay as much.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of these William Devane commercials. Hi, I'm William Devane. Buy gold or silver from Roslyn Capital. What's in yours? What's in your safe? William Devane.
Yeah, at least my insurance is now covering my insulin and test strips.
Nice.
Took a frickin' long time before they'll start covering it. That saves me a couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was using generic test strips, which still being conservative with them was still $50 a month.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wouldn't be hard on it. You know, I mean, at least you're breathing and.
Oh yeah, I'm just like, I should just fill up all my test strips right now, and just in case my insurance decides to change their mind and not cover it.
Yeah. And like I will say that when like the dental insurance that I had, I think it was Delta Dental. That was awesome. I had my dental insurance was awesome. I loved it. I mean,
nice.
Delta Dental treated me really, really nice. I mean, it was great. But Blue Cross Blue Shield, no, they were okay when it came to doctor visits. Or maybe you need to see a specialist. But when it came to like urgent care, some of those urgent care facilities, the ones where you like get in, get out, get better kind of thing.
Yep.
Now I don't prefer urgent care if I can help it, because unlike my doctor, it's like they don't spend some time with you asking some questions. It's like, well, how can we get the copay out of this guy, and then off you go. I mean, I only go to those urgent care centers when I know that I have a sinus infection. I just need some antibiotics. Like, okay, I think I got a sinus infection or whatever. Just give me the. And you know, that's another thing. Is antibiotics. I would love it if there was over the counter. Like the physician would say, "What do you have?" Well, I have a sinus infection. You know, they give you those They give you, you know, if you think about it, they let you have like sinus medicine that's used for making methamphetamines, and they let you buy alcohol over the counter, and that's that. You have enough of that, that's going to kill you.
Acetaminophen.
Well, Well, you get what I'm trying to say. It's like some of those pills. I mean, sleeping pills. You take too many of those, you're gonna go to the. So I guarantee it. If they could get antibiotics over the counter and do the strep throat thing, where the physician could just swab your stuff, get it tested right there, because that's what they do at the hospitals or at a doctor's office. They just swab the inside of your mouth. They run it through the machine, and if you do have it, here you go. But
well, technically, if you know what kind of antibiotics you need, there are plenty of places you can get it over the counter by going to a pet store or a Fleet Farm or Farm and Fleet, or even online you can order it.
Oh yeah, I mean, but the main thing I was just getting at, it cut down health insurance costs if antibiotics were over the counter like everything else, because you can't get a high off of antibiotics. I've yet to find a stoner that says, "Man, I wish I had some antibiotics so I can get stoned."
They don't. Yeah, the reason is they don't want people abusing it. Because look what we have. We have MRSA, which is an antibiotic